Live Life by Soul Design. I'm your host, Nicole Mantilla Parato, and today we have a very special guest, Dr. Jonathan Glass, who is a naturopathic doctor, an acupuncturist, an Ayurvedic practitioner, the founder, co-founder of the Healing Essence Center with his wife, Catherine, which is absolutely amazing. They are bridging modern science, ancient wisdom to help progress people in their health and their vitality. And there's so many other things that this man does. I mean, I read his bio and I will put more in the show notes, but he has so many gifts, so much wisdom to help all of you embody more of your soul's essence, because our health and our vitality is the gateway to more of our remembrance. Welcome, Jonathan. It is so amazing to have you here.
Well, nice to be here, Nicole. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Love what you're doing.
Oh, I love what you're doing too. So, when we were talking, I want to get into this. I want to just dive right in
Sure.
to this JīvAtma healing, because at
Mm,
this time, I really feel the calling for us to live from our soul
mhm,
is happening. But we
mm,
can't really access that when we're carrying so much density in the samskaras, right? And everything that's
mhm.
in our body. So tell me about why you created this form of healing.
Mm, okay. So it really just started coming to me, gosh, maybe 10, 12 years ago. And there's always the premise as a practitioner, uh, and a lot of different psychologies and energy healing, the importance of being present with what is in order for that energy to either dissipate or become what it's meant to become. You know, if it's something that needs to be released, we have to be present with it. If it's something that wants to evolve, we have to be present with it. So I, being an Ayurvedic practitioner, every element is related to organs, to different energies, to emotions, to physical, mental, emotional, spiritual abilities or gifts. And so it just kind of occurred to me one day that by bringing harmony to an element, it includes all those things. And it just kind of occurred to me that I could do that by connecting with that energy inside myself and then connecting with that energy in the other person and inviting balance. In Ayurveda, we use the word sattva. Sattva means pure existence or beingness, energy. And it was almost like I was just exploring, because a lot of times I'll do acupuncture and I'll just put my hands under someone's head for a couple minutes just to bring balance. And it was just download, like, hey, okay, we do 5 elements, earth, water, fire. So I just started doing it, and people just very quickly started going really deep. You know, the acupuncture itself can be very deep, it can be very powerful. But then they would spiral into this really deep place very, very quickly. And so very quickly, I knew either I was onto something or my guides were onto something.
Yeah, yeah.
Something was happening. Something was happening, and I just continued with it. So for about a year, I just kept getting more downloads about the next step of this process.
Right.
And then I had a dear friend who's a very sensitive, very energetic, uh, and he would come and get sessions, and I would be working on him, and he would articulate exactly what the intention of what I was doing.
I,
And so it was giving me really good feedback. You know, I knew it was happening, but then he was actually articulating what I was doing. So that was really helpful. And the process is about going from the most dense energy to the most subtle energy.
mhm.
And in that, there's an acknowledgement of, you know, the denser energies that we're dealing with. And by really acknowledging them and being present with them, it creates a space to go to the next level. Because I also, in the sort of in the spiritual healing journey, there's, we've heard of, spiritual bypassing, or, I used to use the word spirit polarizing, where we polarize to something and sort of disconnect from another part of ourself. And what I liked about this is that this was starting energetically in the most, basic level, which was the physical elements, or the tissues of the body, and then going through the five elements, and then going through in Ayurveda what's called the subtle body, which is mind, intelligence, or innate intelligence, ego, which is an energy, time, energy, consciousness, all the way to the Atma, or the soul. So that's what we're doing. So we're creating in this process a foundation and a beingness with each element, feeling comfortable in each element, which then makes it safe to go to the more subtle element. And that's in a nutshell what it is. But it is that aspect of being present with what is, and then moving on from there.
I
Yeah.
think that's so beautiful because as you're talking about it, I'm visualizing, a body laying in front of you and the whole skeletal system, the tissues and the muscles, and the importance of that foundational work that you do as an Ayurvedic practitioner and an acupuncturist, but that the JīvAtma Healing takes it, like you're saying, to the next level.
Mhm.
And we can't bypass and just go to the soul level. And that's when I'm noticing right now in
Mhm.
humanity that we're creating and leading from distortion when we want to bypass the density and being connected deeply to our bodies and the earth.
Mhm. Mhm.
We can't really lead from integrity and purity. And that's why I'm so excited to have you on here, is to share the wisdom of not only connecting to your body, but the importance of working with the elements and your organs to ground deeper, not just for the physical cleansing, but the
Mhm.
emotional and
Mhm.
spiritual benefits that come with it.
Mhm.
So, when you talk about the soul, because I think a lot of our listeners that might be used to acupuncture and energy healing, a lot of people don't understand the essence of the soul, right? Like,
Mhm. Mhm.
so can you touch more from your perspective and your experience about the soul?
Sure. Great question. I'll do my best.
Yeah, no, it's a hard one
It
because
is,
it's
yeah.
so multifaceted, and I love seeing we all have different perspectives about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I am very comfortable with the Ayurvedic model.
Mhm.
And I say model, it's a model, but it's also tremendously mm, has a tremendous amount of common sense to it.
Mhm.
And it's a map of reality that's related to kind of what is. It acknowledges the elements of life, very clearly. And these are, it's nice to know that some of the greatest mystics and yogis from bygone ages came to the awareness of this material internally. It
Mm.
wasn't that somebody gave them a book and they went on the computer and they learned about it, or, you
Yes,
know, they
yes.
they they came to it intuitively from inside themselves, um, in states of deep meditation, or samadhi, like a state of consciousness, that they were able to come to these levels of awareness. So, the soul is this very amazing thing. So it's very subtle. So I like to talk about the soul as having three qualities. In yoga, most people do yoga, they know these words: Sat, Chit, Ananda, right?
Mhm.
Sat, Chit, Ananda are the properties and qualities of the soul. And there's different ways of talking about that. So Sat, well, first of all, it's the part of us that is ever present or eternal. So the body, the five elements, At some point this body will no longer exist or no longer be alive as this form, but something continues afterwards. Okay, then that something is us. That's the real inner us. And there's a word in Sanskrit, svarup. Svarup means our essence, and use that word essence.
Mm-hmm.
The essence of who we are is what continues. And so that essence, we call the soul or the atma or the self. And that atma has three main qualities, Satchit, Ananda, and I'll say what they are from, even if you've heard this millions of times, it's,
The deepening.
here is another layer of like getting it, right?
Yeah.
So Sat means truth, it means eternal, it means that which is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the existence energy. So I like to put it just in real simple, it's the beingness energy. It's the beingness energy. So you could say that that part when we are actually being present, like when we're actually in beingness mode, when we're connected with that energy of beingness, that is the essence, an aspect of the essence of your soul coming through. That's soul energy, beingness energy. So whenever we're feeling really present, you could say, or in my understanding, that is soul energy coming through. It's not mind, it's not intellect, it's not body, only body. It's your essence of your existence coming through. And then the word chit, C-H-I-T, or sometimes spelled C-I-T, is the knowing potency. And we use the word consciousness, but it's awareness. It's the capacity that we have to be aware. And that awareness can be anything from, I'm looking at a chair in front of me, to awareness of very deep aspects of myself, very deep aspects of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
It has to do with, but it's the aspect, the quality of the soul, because it's spiritual, it's ever present, like I mentioned before, that awareness is connected to that also. So it's inherent. So that capacity of knowing anything is coming from the soul. Now it can get funneled through the mind, the intelligence, the ego, like that. But when it's pure awareness. It just exists as pure awareness. And so it's the knowing capacity. It's the capacity to know our essence, our deepest essence. So when we really, sometimes we just know something. It's not, we just know it. It's just like, I know it, it's just a knowing. That's the essence of that property or quality of the soul coming through is knowingness. And then the third one is Ananda. Ananda is often defined as bliss. So yes, the nature of the soul is blissful, but it's also that vibration of pure love. It's love is blissful. When you, so that's the nature of our very self, and the nature of our very essence is this beingness, knowingness, and love. So that's the nature of the soul. So in order for, you could say, authentic healing to take place at some point, because those are really the energies that animate even the body. It's coming from that, if you think of it like a spark of light that shines through the whole body, it's considered to be, it's funny, the way it's described in the ancient, it's like it's tinier than 1/10 of a tip of the size of a hair, but yet it's so powerful that it animates the whole body. That spark is made up of the energies of Satchit Ananda, of beingness, consciousness, and bliss, or beingness, awareness, and love. That's the very essence of the soul. So whenever we feel love, whenever we feel knowingness or awareness, whenever we feel beingness, that you could say is a manifestation of our soul. And so the process of healing or yoga or energy healing or anything like that, even, detoxification, things that move the obstacles that you could say obstruct that essence coming through is useful. And that, to me, that's what deeper levels of healing is about, is connecting to that. And in Ayurveda, it's very interesting. It considers the energy of the soul as very important in the healing process.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the only thing. I mean, yes, clearing parasites are important, and they are. Uh, Doing so many things, doing emotional work and healing can be very important. Um, but it's a little bit like, I mean, one analogy is the sun is there, but there's a cloud blocking the sun.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to, we have to, well, it's good to know that the sun exists.
Right, exactly.
And maybe you can see the sun peeking through, so you can connect to the warm rays of the sun. You know something about it. You can connect to it, and that gives energy, which also supports the process of removing the cloud.
Exactly.
So
And
it's
that,
both. It's
yeah,
both. It's not just removing the cloud. It's both as important to simultaneously go deeper, connect to our deeper essence, and yes, do the work that we need to do for healing, physical, mental, emotional, whatever healing, you know, wants to be done. So both is important because the energy of the soul is very powerful. So if we can connect to that while we're doing our healing work and our personal growth work, it's much more powerful. And another side benefit is that if we begin to recognize that in ourselves, we can recognize it in another person, even if that other person doesn't recognize it.
which is beautiful.
Which is beautiful because then it takes out a layer off of judgmentalism and criticism and fault finding and all these other things that the human mind and ego tend to do. So if we can see the spiritual spark in another person, and it doesn't mean that we have to like everybody equally. I mean, there may be somebody that really rubs us the wrong way, but if we can see that spiritual spark in that person
Mhm.
anyway, then uh, it benefits myself and it benefits the other person as well. Probably benefits the whole world. So,
So you've treated, I'm sure, thousands and thousands of patients.
mm,
And so, how many people, let's be honest, of what you see in your daily life are actually connected to their soul and their dharma?
well,
I mean, because
mm,
this is what I want to shine the light
mm,
on, because this
yeah,
is
go
what
for it.
we want to have happen. We want
Yes.
people to see the importance
Hmm.
of this work and the soul to live with purpose, to live on
Right.
mission.
Yes. First, people need, well, I say need, it's always tricky to say you need, they have to, right? But having a language for this kind of thing is really important. That's one reason I love Ayurveda,
Hmm.
because there's a language for it. You know, just like in the psychic world, sometimes we talk about picking up energy from other people,
Yeah.
you know, but if we didn't know that that's a thing, then we might think, oh, I hung out with that person, I got a headache. I don't know, but then we know, okay, just like we know, okay, when I'm playing outside in the dirt and I get my knee dirty, there's a word for that, dirt on my knee. So now we can talk, go
Yeah.
take some soap and get the dirt off your knee. So when we have ways of talking about some of these things, it can be very helpful. So even this word dharma
Hmm.
or life purpose, or we can say our gift, or there's so many ways of looking at the word dharma, which is a beautiful word actually. Um, First, supporting people to know that there is that thing called dharma,
Yeah.
that every single living being in this world has the potential to connect to that inside themselves. And first, so that takes a little bit of openness and maybe some education and mind opening practices to reconnect with, oh my gosh, I'm here for a reason. I have certain gifts. It's not just to, come here, enjoy some things and die.
Hmm.
There's a lot more to being here potentially than what maybe externally we were taught or whatever in society. So your question about how many people do I know, I would say on the one hand, it's like a handful, but
Hmm.
on the other hand, it's so many people are awakening to that possibility right now. It's
Hmm.
like the growth curve, it's like exponential.
Yes.
It's like exponential. I feel like it's almost going over the top of the mountain, and pretty soon it's just going to take off. That's what it feels like to me. It's like it's close, but we just have to honor it even more, that it's a reality and it can happen. We want it to happen, and we kind of need it to happen too.
Totally. And this
You know?
education and even this podcast of us talking about these things,
Mhm.
my hope and Jonathan's hope is that you guys all get more connected to your body and your
Mhm.
soul and start to explore these different
Mhm.
modalities and ways that you can heal. And so let's now talk about the importance of your total life cleanse. First of all, he's written an acclaimed book. He's an author of the Total Life Cleanse. And I saw a co-creator of a program that you run, and it's coming up soon, right? In September.
Yes.
Which
Yeah.
fall is the perfect time, guys, to start this. And why don't you explain to us how, like, the detoxing, the cleanse, the liver, and all of that can actually help people connect more to their bodies and their soul?
Sure. Okay. Um, so one thing I just want to say, because you're talking about connecting to the body, and it's very interesting because in the yoga system, there are, there's many types of yoga,
Yeah.
and some aspects of yoga deal with a lot of what's called renunciation and austerity and discipline, almost avoiding the body, almost denying the existence of the body. Like very austere yogi, meditating on the
Yeah.
mountains, not eating much, barely drinking water, skinny as can be, long matted
Yeah,
lock.
I'm not of that
Yeah,
mindset.
yeah, yeah. So that those were of days gone by,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is that in the yoga system, it's said that it's just one of the first verses in one of what scripture is it? It's might be the Ayurveda. Says, now that you have attained this human form of life, now that you have attained this human form of life, there is the great potential to realize who you really are. And it's understood that the human body is a remarkable vehicle, and
Yes.
it's a perfect vehicle for self-realization.
Yes.
It's an extraordinary, yes, good, awesome. It's a perfect vehicle for self-realization. And that is, mm, it's a good thing to let that inspire us so that we take advantage of it. Like if we're given $1 million and we blow it on, I don't know, gambling or chocolate bars or something, I don't know, and we don't utilize it, in beneficial ways, then we miss an opportunity. So the human form of life is an extremely auspicious opportunity for personal and spiritual growth. And so that's like something to lean into a little bit, because then we can take the opportunity more more to heart, take advantage of it, and not squander it, in a certain kind of way, like take it for granted. It's so easy to take things for granted in life, and So we don't want to take even having a human body for granted, because it's the capacity for consciousness, for connecting to our soul, Satchidananda, beingness, consciousness, awareness, bliss, love, healing. It's so profound that it's like we have this major gift, and we want to take advantage of it. So that is the foundation. So in cleansing is many dimensional. It's multi-dimensional. In both Ayurveda and Chinese medicine, it's understood that every single organ has a physical, mental, emotional, and spirit level uh, quality to it. So, for example, the liver physically has, does so many things: detoxification, uh, uh, purification, bile production, transformation of nutrients into blood. I mean, there's so many things that the liver's doing on a physical level. And then on an emotional level, it holds different emotions. It holds the emotion anger. It holds the emotion frustration, but it also holds the energy of hope and vision and excitement for life and interest in life and the capacity for mundane planning, but also personal life, emotional healing, planning, and visionary. Like, what do I want? What do I hope for in life? So the liver is doing all of that. So that liver organ that works so hard physically is holding all those energies, because we are multidimensional beings. We're not just a liver. We're not just a physical body that has organ capacity to eat, sleep, and have fun in life, or live our life. It's happening on all these different levels. The lungs hold grief, but they also breathe in air and oxygen, and they take that and they transform in such a way that it connects it with the blood, and the blood carries it through the body. There's so many things. The lungs create glutathione, the master antioxidant, as does the liver, for detoxification. So many things are happening physically, but they're also happening emotionally. So the lungs hold grief, but they also hold the energy of preciousness, the capacity to experience the moment as being precious. It's described in Chinese medicine that it gives us a capacity to experience preciousness in mundane activities of life.
Mm.
So doing the dishes, brushing your teeth, combing your hair, you know, those things can be anywhere from completely mundane and boring to ecstatic, depending on, you could say the quality of our breathing and our lungs, you know. So every organ has these different components to it. So I won't go through all the organs, but everything, every organ, every system has those different dimensions. So cleansing means that whether we know it or not, we're being touched on all those different levels. I I do like to start with cleansing from the bottom up, meaning let's start with the physical vessel.
Mhm.
And what happens is that when the liver becomes happier, when the large intestine becomes happier, when the lungs become happier, what happens, all those other dimensions of whatever the properties and potential qualities of that organ, whatever they are, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, they can also begin to manifest more clearly. So oftentimes when people's liver clears up, they'll start with feeling less irritable,
Mhm.
less frustrated, more hopeful, more visionary for their life, more interested, more excited about life. Because before, their liver was heavy and sluggish and
Mhm.
dull, and it's like a swamp in the body with
Right.
all kinds of gunk, tires and trash, you know, chemicals.
Yeah.
It deadens the liver energy, and then it's harder to feel excited. And then when we're not excited because we're meant to be interested in life, what happens? We get frustrated and angry. You
Mm.
know, when the liver energy, for example, is in charge of what's called the free flow of chi, the free flow of energy, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. And if the liver's stagnant, then it's very difficult to flow. And when we don't flow, we get frustrated, we get irritable, we project our frustration on others, pick fights with, you know, so many things will happen. So when we cleanse the liver organ, it's so powerful on many, many, many levels. So, you know, during the cleanse, it's not that every single person who does a cleanse is super aware of all these things, and they don't have to be. During my cleanse and in my book, I do go into this because I think it's really valuable for people to at least touch this information so that they understand that what I'm doing is not, yes, it's good for my health, definitely, but it's good for my quality of life, it's good for my mental clarity, and it's good for my happiness, and it's good for my relationships, and it's even good for my emotional self, and it's even good for my spiritual, you know, aspects of myself. So yeah, so we'll do many things to detox the liver, support liver detoxification, good elimination, lung health throughout the cleanse. So we're removing foods that are common stressors in the body. And these days there's many, you know, because of the nature of, excuse me, the quality of the food these days,
Mhm.
GMOs, toxins, herbicides, pesticides, heavy metals, those have a negative impact on
Yeah.
the organs and the tissues. And everything has energy too, right? Everything has a frequency. Some things are very dense, and we want to uh, try to put in our bodies that which has a higher frequency, higher vibration, so that we can also function on that level. So I'll stop here on that, and you know, any more questions? I know I got a little bit on, but that is the foundation of the cleanse. Really, is coming from that angle. Not everybody always knows that.
Mm.
Once they read my book, they know that. But because cleansing is good for everybody. Everybody needs to cleanse at least twice a year these days. In
Yeah.
Ayurveda, it said thousands of years ago when the water was clear, the air was clean, it's still recommended twice a year. Not to mention now we have thousands of chemicals in the environment. We have pesticides, herbicides, heavy metals. Everyone is exposed to all kinds of crazy bacteria and viruses and parasites.
Mhm.
It's just so common. So, or if we want to feel our best, even just physically, you know, it's so important to do some kind of cleanse a couple times a year.
Yeah, and that, as you're talking about this, I'm going right to the stomach, to digestion, right?
Yes.
Because once you start working with the liver and the lungs, I mean, all the other organs start to not have to take on such a heavy load. And I think right now, there's so much information, there's so much junk we're consuming, you know, there's so many poisons that our systems are overloaded, and people don't just think about the food, it's the energy and the information and the content that a lot of us aren't even assimilating.
Right. So true. You know, in Ayurveda, you touch on something interesting. They kind of, Ayurveda sort of articulates that health comes down to digestion,
Mm-hmm.
just bottom line.
Yeah.
And it acknowledges that we're digesting on many levels. So
Mm-hmm.
anything that we take in physically, that we're also digesting what we take in through our minds.
Mm-hmm.
We're also digesting what we take in through our senses. So with, you know, the eyes are known as uh, it's alochika. Alochika means the power to digest light.
Mm.
So everything's digesting. You know, if I'm watching a movie, I have to digest it. I take it in through my senses, through my mind, through my emotional body. I'm processing it, understanding it, you know. So we're digesting things on many level, and those things impact us also. So I have patients I have to recommend, you know, you need to turn off the television or turn off the news 24 hours a day. I have people that like 2 weeks ago, they
Yeah.
were feeling guilty for turning off the news because they felt like they're supposed to know everything 24 hours a day, what's going on in the world. And there's a certain point where it makes people sick.
Oh,
We're not designed to do that.
yeah.
So physically, yes, so many toxins, quality of the food, the GMOs, herbicides, pesticides, so many things we're being stressed. And the good news is that there's ways to offset those things.
This is just opening up a whole can of worms for me over here as I'm sitting here listening. And I'm thinking about the fact that the more that we're overloaded with consumption, right? Constantly consuming, the more people stay in their heads and they're not occupying the fullness of
Mhm.
their body. And
Mhm.
that's what we're seeing is such a disconnection right now
Mhm.
in humanity where people are living in their heads, their health is compromised. They want to know what their gifts is or their sole purpose, but they're not even taking the full steps to be fully in their body and consciously. I believe we need to consciously work with our organs, our elements, the energy to start to be grounded and expand and be able to actually have the clarity to feel that connection to our
Mhm.
soul and our wisdom. And I don't know if you ever see this with the people you treat, but I always have people like, when are my gifts going to come online? When am I going to know? When am I going to know? I feel like there's such a surrendering that needs to happen right now for us to come deeper into our
Mhm.
bodies. And we've been taught, not we've been taught, but like, everybody wants a quick fix.
Mhm.
Everybody wants an instant fix. And this work is not a quick fix, it's evolution. It's tending to our body, tending to our mind, tending to our spirit. And I think a lot of what you're offering and all the wisdom you have are different ways to do
Mhm.
that, to
Yeah,
get there.
absolutely.
I just had to get
Yeah.
that
No, beautiful, beautiful. And I really appreciate I can feel your passion and your appreciation and understanding about how important it is to bring it back to the body.
so
You know,
important. And that's
and
why, yeah.
yeah, I was going to say that, and it seems paradoxical because it's so easy to say, well, I'm not, the body's just this, you know, but the body coming back to the body is this amazing
Technology.
technology that is so designed for receiving very for being and receiving and knowing and sharing uh wonderful gifts and energy. uh it's an amazing vehicle, and sometimes we're looking in the wrong directions for these things. Sometimes I often will say, for when I teach meditation, is use your body as an antenna.
Mm.
Or yeah, I mean, there's a breathing using, oftentimes people go to the nose, use your nose as an antenna, but sometimes just use your body, allow the sensations of your body and keep coming back to it. And it's an antenna for your awareness. And the body's is very powerful that way.
I have something I want to share too.
Sure.
All on this is, we talk about just making decisions, and so many people are indecisive these days, right?
Mhm.
And so, what Jonathan and I are talking about, like when you get deeper into your body and you do this work, you start to wire in a way where you become decisive, you become grounded, you become
Mhm.
crystalline clear.
Mhm.
And I think that being in our body and having our soul animate, right? And knowing
Mhm.
our gifts to be in our body is to take the action to build. So
Mhm.
you can be connected and all spiritual. And if you're not in your body and you're not making the decisions to take the actions and to move and build, you're not going to anchor your vision. And
Mhm.
I see so many spiritual people get disconnected and all on just the soul and the spirit and not being of the body that they
Mhm.
don't have the abundance. they're not, maybe they're healthy and there's vitality, but they're not really living fully in their mission and having things anchored in
Mhm.
the 3D world.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I think that when we utilize this technology with our soul turned on and we build from that place,
I love that. Utilize
we
your
make,
technology with your soul turned on. I love it.
right? We make shit happen. We make
Yeah.
shit happen and we change the paradigm and we
Mhm.
change the narratives and we disrupt the old things, the things that we've been carrying that have kept us small. I'm sorry, I got really excited.
No,
I
it's
had
beautiful. I love it.
to, but this is where it is. Like you said, the soul is like that electricity that comes on and it beams through our eyes, through our skin. We glow in a new way. But
Mhm.
to me, one of the quickest ways to jumpstart that is to do a total cleanse, like what you're saying in the fall,
Mhm.
is to get clear and then to then take those practices and do the
Mhm.
meditation, the intuitive movement, the yoga, the journaling, the writing, all these different modalities.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it's whatever, some of you may like what Jonathan does. Some of you may like what other people do. There's so many different avenues to
Mhm.
get there. But the point is, we want you to get there,
Right.
right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. You know, like you said, the body is amazing. And I think uh, many like yourself are tapping into that reality. And this is something that the yogis of the past knew. I mean, some of these guys could live. I mean, we hear stories of yogis living to be 1,000 years old, and just kind of think like, oh, these are just myths. But
Yes.
there are those that did, and because they mastered the energies of their own body. Not just through discipline, but through awareness and through consciousness. They knew how to use the breath in so many different ways. They knew how to manifest different energies and realities. The body is an amazing vehicle. And if we remove the obstacles, just like that cloud blocking the sun, then we become much brighter, much, much brighter. And that's ultimately what it's all about. And yeah, I mean, I'm always very happy when someone's blood work is improving
Hmm.
or their aches and pains are gone or their headaches are less and their menstrual cycle is less traumatic or
Yeah.
these are all wonderful. I mean, it's certainly a very pleasant thing to be a practitioner and be able to support people in so-called ordinary ways of, because what happens is when people realize that they can get better in natural ways through herbs, through diet, through lifestyle, then that automatically awakens them to another possibility of life.
Hmm.
I mean, when they realize, oh my gosh, I thought life was this way. Now I'm finding out that life can be this way. And that
True.
opens up a whole new paradigm. It's like opening up to a whole nother universe. And then it's like those silly advertising, yet, but there's more, and there's more, and
Hmm.
there's more, and there's more. And the more we remove the physical toxins, mental toxins, emotional toxins. There's a word in Ayurveda, ama. Ama means toxin. And they say the cause of all disease is ama or toxin,
Yeah.
is toxin. So whether it's physical, mental, emotional, and here's a beautiful word, pragyaparad. Pragyaparad is considered the original cause of disease from Ayurveda. And pragya means knowledge, experience, and wisdom. It includes intuition. Aparad means to offend. And Radha in Aparad means pure love. So it's a very deep word. Simply speaking, when we offend our own common sense and intuition, we get ourselves into trouble.
Hmm.
But when we offend our own loving nature, when we offend love, and part of love is listening to yourself. If I know something that's true, and I do the opposite, it's not very loving. Even if someone says, "Hey, will you do this for me?" And something in me says that doesn't feel right, but because I have psychological needs to be liked, I do it anyway. What happens? I suffer in the long run. Or maybe not so long, maybe a week later. I'm miserable. I shouldn't have done that. I knew I shouldn't have done that. That's pragyaparad right there, offending our own intuition, knowledge, common sense. And then apa means against, when we go against that. And then radha means love. So when we go against love, when we go against that essential nature of who we are, when we go against that, this is from an Ayurvedic perspective, is the origin of imbalance. And so many things that we do even weren't necessarily conscious aparad, but there must have been somewhere inside of us somewhere that can say, you know what, spraying my broccoli with carcinogenic pesticides must not be such a good thing. But yet, then if somebody on the outside says, no, no, it's okay, it's safe, then your mind kind of goes, it does this weird thing where, like, okay, I accept the authority, but yet something in me still knows it's not true, but yet I'm just going to accept it. And
Welcome to
then
the world of inner conflict for so many.
yes, and then we down regulate, we down vibe, so we don't see things.
Mhm.
I remember when I was a little boy, we lived in Scotland for a little while, and we lived next to a farm, and my sister had a knack for connecting with all the cows. She had a horse, and so we'd go. She had this one cow that was this beautiful cow with a white spot in the third eye, and she called it Star. And we didn't really know, but there was a butchery right next door to the farm, so they would take the cows there. And so one night we're eating, and all of a sudden my sister says, "Oh my God, this could be Star," because Star was taken away. And I remember very clearly my father said, "No, no, no, I'm sure it's not." And a part of me was like, "How does he know that? He doesn't know that." And a part of me was like, "Well, because he's my father, I'm going to believe him." And I
Mhm.
literally, and even now I just remember kind of going from here to here, just like I had to downgrade my awareness in order to accept what he said. Now he was trying to be a loving father, nothing, didn't want his daughter to freak out, but it very well could have been that cow that she was that she developed love with. She would play with it practically every day. So it's a type of denial that we accept, and then by going into denial, our vibration goes down
Mhm.
and we're not as tuned into what really is. So this pragyaparad can happen on many levels. Cleansing clears pragyaparad. So for example, I'm eating cheese every day and I'm always congested, and stop eating cheese. And I know that every time I eat cheese, I get congested, but my doctor said I wasn't allergic to cheese, so it can't be that.
Mhm.
But then one day I stop eating cheese and I stop having congestion. And now I have the experience of, okay, well, my doctor said cheese is okay. Now it's a moment of truth. My body says it doesn't work for me. My doctor says it works for me. Who do I believe?
Yes.
Pragyaparad would be believe the doctor because he's the authority. But trusting myself or loving to myself would be saying, you know what? Thank you, doctor. You're good in many areas, but in this area, I experienced that dairy gives me mucus. So I'm going to honor that. So we go through life and so many opportunities we miss. We don't trust ourselves. We, listen to some other voice internal, or we trust some external source, and we don't connect to really what's happening. So we put these layers upon layers upon layers of creating imbalance for ourselves.
Well, this
So
is so good because as you're saying this, I just keep hearing the body is always listening,
yeah,
right? And it's always speaking. And what if we should do an experiment today because I like to give everyone a co-creation activation.
Okay.
And I believe our cells are always listening and they're programmable. And we can talk to our body to facilitate healing. So then when you're saying
Mhm.
you're pairing it with the herbs, the diet, the exercise, and then talking and then bringing in frequency medicine, breath, all of it, we can really cultivate a whole new inner world, which transforms you from the inside out. And so I really think today would be fun to work on the liver and co-create something
Mm.
together. Because part of
Okay.
my technologies is using frequency, color, and
Mm.
geometries
Mm.
to help people with health. And
Mm.
so I would love, we've already talked about a lot about the emotional component and the physical detox benefits of the liver.
Mhm.
But I think that let's co-create an experience where we take people into that right upper quadrant
Mhm.
of their body, let them feel, and let's facilitate a process. And then you guys should totally sign up for Jonathan's total cleanse. When is it? September 20?
September 22nd.
I love that,
Yeah.
right? So like, or even if you don't do that, do a cleanse and let what we're gonna co-create here jumpstart your body's awareness and that liver detoxification and the releasing of the anger and the frustration and
Mm.
that extra fire that you get sometimes in that liver,
Mhm. Mhm.
right?
And anger can be good,
Anger
right?
can be good, yes.
Absolutely. But
Propels you
it
forward. There's
yeah,
secret
it's
thinking.
in
Yeah.
Chinese medicine, it's the assertion of the self, that
Yes.
energy. I deserve to exist.
I love
I
that.
ex- I exert I deserve I it's okay to be, but then and sometimes we need to use that energy strongly.
It's true.
Yeah. But
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 there
not
is
but it can become
excess where
toxic, right? Yeah,
there is excess when you can burn others with too much of that fire, right?
exactly. Exactly.
I'm a fiery being, if you can't
Yeah.
tell. So
Good.
if I get extra fire, watch out. Um,
Yes.
so, okay, I'm getting my looper ready in case I use vocal tones for the liver. But
Okay.
um, you want to start, or do you want me to start? This is gonna be so fun.
Why don't you start just because so I can
Follow? Okay,
follow
guys.
kind of what you're I'll just kind of go along with
Yeah.
what you're doing there.
Okay, so if you guys are in Jonathan's community and you're new to me, this is what I do on my podcast. I love having people on and we co-create magic together and we create that coherence. We go back and forth to give you guys a visceral experience. So this is not about digesting it from your head. We want you to feel. We want you to feel today. Yeah. Good. Okay, I gotta just turn on my amp for a second. Bear with me. Okay. All right, I invite everybody to sit upright for this activation. Feel your sit bones rooted to your chair, your spine nice and long, the shoulders away from the ears. And just take some deep, nourishing breaths. And we'll start with placing our hands on our belly. You're safe, you're connected, you're rooted. Just let all the worries and stressors fall away. Keep breathing, moving that energy, and slowly just tilt your head back to expose your throat. Take a deep breath in. Exhale out the mouth, the audible sound of ah as you bring your head
Um,
back to center. Wonderful. And you're going to take your right hand and you're going to place it on the right upper quadrant, and then your left hand over that. And we're going to visualize some beautiful violet light coming in to the liver, swirling, purifying, transmuting. Alamasun toro ma itoro kuskara itoro uskara mashkuna mai. Take a deep breath in. Blow out. It's important that you blow out. And when you blow out, you're going to purse your lips like deep breath in. Blow out. Another deep breath in. Blow out. Release the hands and let the body melt. Let the body just drop off the density and soften. Let the muscles soften. Good. Jonathan, I'm going to pass that to you.
Allow the belly to soften. Take some breaths as you're breathing in. Allow the ribs, where the ribs meet the belly, just to expand outward. And allow the center of your body to be like an antenna. To allow yourself to be present and hear. And like in a beautiful spring day, have a sense of connecting to something inside you that brings hope. Allow yourself to feel the part of you that's like it's like that inner kid in you that at one time in your life had hope and excitement. Allow a drop of excitement and interest and curiosity. And open your right hand and feel 5 or 10 drops. It's like golden drops of hope, excitement, curiosity, vision for life. And take that and put it back over the right quadrant of your ribs, right into your liver. It's like golden light entering into your liver, dispersing very easily and effortlessly any stagnation or toxins or frustration or broken dreams and hopes. Giving your liver new life, new energy, new hope, and vision to manifest your divine identity, your purpose, your joy, and a healthy sense of self-assertion, a healthy sense of, yes, I deserve to exist. I am happy to be. I am happy to express myself as I am. This is the real healthy energy of liver. Liver is really the I am energy. It's the I am energy, and I get to be, and I get to express myself, feel myself, know myself, love and express and do and be according to who I am and my gifts. Take another breath. Own your beingness energy. Beingness energy is perhaps the most fundamental, most powerful energy. because from beingness energy comes awareness, comes love, comes presence, everything. Sometimes the energy of assertion means breaking through old molds and old conceptions and outdated ways of thinking. Want your life. Let yourself want your life. Let yourself take action with your own life internally and externally. It's okay to charge ahead.
I'm going to invite you guys to feel the sensation of tapping. I'm going to make sounds, but visualize the tapping happening on your liver. Beautiful. Visualize this green emerald energy coming in. Take a deep breath in and blow out. Visualize this blue emerald energy coming in. Beautiful. And let's take a deep breath together, and we're all going to make a vocal toning sound to stimulate our vagus nerve and just move some energy. Deep breath in. Now, as we do this next time, hold your liver, give it love, visualize the emerald light, and release yourself from the shackles that have kept you playing small. Deep breath in. One more deep breath in. And one more, as long as, and whatever sound wants to come out with me. We're going deep though, because we're getting it out. Deep breath in. pass that back to you.
Mm, beautiful. I love what you said about the shackles. There's time in this world right now. We're all being called to become free of these shackles. We're coming out of a time when shackles were normal, shackles were accepted, shackles were how we thought it was supposed to be. But it's time now to wake up and become free of these shackles and step into our divine identity, step into our beautiful, powerful liver energy, divine energy of hope and strength and power. So, and even the energy of anger, that not toxic energy, but that energy, that surge of inner strength and inner power, and the strength of the assertion of I exist, I deserve to be, and my gifts are essential. And it is essential for me and my well-being and my sanity and the sanity of those that I love in my life, and for the benefit of the world, that I wake up to who I am and manifest my gifts, my abilities, and my beingness, my awareness, and my love energy to its fullest extent, to its greatest potential at this moment in time. Oh,
Oh, can I get a oh? You brought the fire, you brought the energy. Okay, Jonathan, like you just everybody, do you see a whole new level of Jonathan Glass? Thank you for the channeling, for the experience. How fun was that? Did you have fun?
that was, I had a great time.
I had fun.
Can I come back tomorrow?
But this is what I'm talking about. This is us playing our bodies and co-creating with each other like divine instruments. And we can do that to wake
Yes,
up the technology within us,
yes,
right?
totally.
And that's what this is all about. I feel like this new pioneering health paradigm merging with frequency and ancient
Mhm,
wisdom
mhm,
is to activate the technology, that remembrance. And we can't go there unless we start playing with those organs, the
right.
sound, guiding ourselves, trusting what wants to be spoken. There's so many
Mhm,
stories housed within us,
mhm.
good and bad, right? That's what the chakras are.
Absolutely, absolutely. Love it. I love what you're doing. I love you're bringing all this together. It's beautiful. It's really powerful.
Yeah, and you're really powerful and you have so much to offer. And can I just say, I know we have to wrap it up.
Mhm,
I love the fact that you created the Healing Essence Center with your wife, who I was reading about it. She's a medium and a
mhm,
spiritual gifted energy healer.
mhm,
And that is so special because that is you're normalizing bridging both worlds. And I
mhm,
love that. I love that so much. Can you just speak for a couple minutes about that? Because that when I saw that, that touched my heart. I was like,
mhm,
I love this so much. Two souls on mission together.
mhm. So when you
Beautiful.
say bridging the two worlds,
I,
what
I
do you
think
mean?
that people, okay, and because I have clients that are
Yep,
doctors,
yep.
acupuncturists, massage therapists, and they're gifted. They're channels. They speak light language.
Mhm,
They have all these spiritual gifts and intuition, but they don't let it come out in session
mhm,
because they're scared that people are going to think they're crazy.
mhm,
And I think it is necessary at these times that we are in
mhm,
that you can only get so far with what's
mhm,
been passed down. We're pioneering new technologies
mhm,
and activating a remembrance of why our soul incarnated in this body and chose this body
mhm,
in the first place.
mhm,
We have new things that want to be built and birthed. And
mhm,
so I really feel like you and your wife hold codes for that.
mhm, mhm, mhm. Beautiful. Yeah, so she is, I mean, it's been kind of great for me in that way because automatically people, acupuncture and is considered very much more normal, these days. Of course, 20, 30
Yeah,
years ago wasn't,
it
but
wasn't, right.
it
It
was
was
kind of
like,
wackadoodle back then, but now it's considered almost medically. And and then people say, "Oh, Catherine's a psychic medium, energy healer." Yeah. So automatically the conversation opens, so it kind of creates this really nice dynamic of um, being able to discuss things. And even when I'm working with people who are suffering or somebody's passed away or they lost somebody, the conversation it's much more available to be spoken of because it's in this place, it's in this space that creates safety for all of that. And like I said, I'm very into working with the earth element, but as people know when they get to work with me that yeah, I work with a lot of health conditions, a lot of issues, physical,
mhm.
but what happens is very quickly people open up to other dimensions of themselves. And Catherine really brings in a whole nother dimension that, like I mentioned in the beginning, there's a language for that.
Yeah.
And I have clients that, they work with me and then they go work with her and they have a mind-blowing experience and they come back and work with me and it's like a quantum shift because now they're open on a whole nother level. And vice versa. She'll call me in, "Hey, can you come muscle test?" And I think they have that energy block. Let me treat that with acupuncture. And then she'll take it from there. So we kind of, we can bounce off of each other in that way too.
I think that's so
Yeah.
beautiful. Do you guys do retreats together?
We have, and we do. Yeah. In fact, my son and I are doing a retreat in October. He is living in Portugal right now, but he's really getting into nature-based education, and he's leading families out in nature, fathers and sons, teenagers, and really doing far out stuff based on the five elements of Ayurveda and Chinese medicine. So he's integrating all of it. So we're doing a thing in October in Western Massachusetts for a 3-day event, and that's on the website, Healing Essence website.
I'll put the link for
Okay,
that and
that'd
the
be great.
total cleanse reset and then the link for your book and
That'd be great.
everything in the show
That'd be
notes so
awesome.
you guys can follow that. But can I say this lights my heart again because I'm all about the family and generational healing and passing down the gifts and doing this together, building something together. And that is just so beautiful. Now, who is this retreat for ideally? Is for with
Um, you
your son?
know,
Like who's it
yeah, so
targeting? Yeah.
yeah, so the retreat is it's really for, I mean, from my perspective, it's look, it's so easy to be disconnected from nature.
Hmm.
We're so over, so much technology, rubber shoes, disconnect from the earth, all that kind of stuff. And there's such a healing that can happen by immersing ourselves in nature and waking up our senses to the natural world in ways that maybe we did when we were children, but probably not for a really long time. And an appreciation of nature that we all would truly benefit from reconnecting to. So it's the workshop is really anyone who wants to reconnect to themselves through nature. We're going to have a healthy amount of talk around the five elements. I'm going to be educating people in that way. So reconnecting the inside and the outside and reconnecting ourselves with nature, it inherently increases mental, emotional balance and sanity. It brings us back to sanity.
Hmm.
And, you know, these days there's such a tendency towards insanity
Oh
on
yeah.
this planet.
Mhm.
There's a great tendency of healing and growth. We know that. The it's said in the Vedas, actually, the ancient scriptures, that the age that we're living in, this particular age, is extreme in every way, meaning extremely challenging with extreme negativity on the one hand, and extreme in the capacity to grow spiritually and heal. It's extreme in both directions. So it's a very auspicious time to be on the planet. Even though sometimes if we're looking in the news and the things that we hear, it seems hellish. It can seem hellish. But from another angle, it's extraordinarily auspicious time on this planet to grow and to grow spiritually and to heal and to reconnect to ourselves, to reconnect with source, reconnect with the body, reconnect with nature. So many different opportunities are right now in a very real, very palpable way. So I would just say, and I know it's not the greatest way to say anyone who, because no, but it's true. I mean, human beings need to connect with nature. And I mean, I've been with my son in some of these retreats before, and it's just extraordinary the things that he notices now. I mean, he knows what a bird is doing when it's flying from there to there. He just picks up things in nature they've been happening for eons, but he actually has a more of an understanding, and he can perceive it and he can know it. And then all of a sudden it's like I don't know, it's like a veil gets lifted, and it's like, oh my gosh, I am connected to this universe. I am connected to nature. And there's a vast amount of innate intelligence that's happening 24 hours a day, right inside us and outside of us. And there's something that is extremely healing. And I use the word sanity inducing. It brings a level of reconnection and sanity. Because without that natural connection, it's very easy to get ungrounded and become somewhat insane.
For sure.
And it's and knowing that we can reconnect and in these ways, one of my definitions of insanity, it's a loose translation, is when we're really feeling out of balance and we feel very little hope of reconnecting to balance inside ourselves. And sanity is, okay, I'm feeling really off right now, but I know that I will reconnect to myself quite soon. I know I have the inner resources. I know I have the tools, and maybe I have the friends, whatever it may be, that I will reconnect. So a lot of people are right on the edge right now. They're not sure if that's a reality, that I can really reconnect to myself and reconnect to nature, reconnect to source. So it's really, really important timing right now to take this opportunity to reconnect. Yeah.
I think that's a really important message to leave everybody with, is that you have the opportunity to change your life and reconnect to the earth and yourselves and your
Beautiful.
mission on a whole new level.
Yes.
Thank you, Jonathan, so much for being
Thank you
here.
so much, Nicole.
It was a pleasure having
It
you
was a
on.
real pleasure.
And I can't wait for people to get to know more about you and follow you. I'm going to put his Facebook. Are you on Instagram or no?
I am, yeah. Mhm.
Okay, I'll put all the links, guys. So definitely check him out, and I'll see you next time. Mwah. That was so fun.
That was awesome. Thank you. That was
Thank
really
you.
nice.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.